Hey, it's Coach Rye from Team Flex. Today we're going to dive into a side-by-side analysis, bikini versus wellness, all right? I'm going to be drawing on the screen here for you all day, breaking this down, talking to you about these differences. The wellness division has been around for a little bit, but a lot of people are very confused still on the differences between wellness, between bikini. What's different? What do you need to know? If you're a new competitor out there trying to figure out what division to go to, this will definitely help you. If you're maybe already competing and you're like, okay, maybe I want to move to wellness, maybe I'm doing wellness, I want to go to bikini. Let's talk about these divisions for a minute and really break down side by side what's happening in each and what you need to know. And you're going to definitely learn a lot here. And this is what we do on this channel all the time, everybody. So appreciate it if you got time to hit that subscribe button. A lot of you watching, not a lot of you subscribed, and these videos take me a damn good amount of time and energy to do for you, all right? So let's dive in. So we got our top Olympia winners here. So we got Bikini over here, Maureen. We got Physqiue over here as wellness. Now, we're going to be analyzing these two physiques and just going through it and breaking it down for you, what's what and what are we looking at. Let's do it. So first things first, what you want to know about both divisions is some similarities happening from the upper body, okay? Everything from the waist up, honestly, if we cut a line right here, that's going to be pretty similar in both, all right? So let's talk about what I mean by that. So in both divisions, we're going to get this tapered look. Width of the shoulders, tapering into the waist right here. We're going to get this, okay? You'll see this on both athletes, bikini here, wellness here. Boom, boom, okay? Important to know this. This tapered look is important for either division. The upper body is virtually pretty much on par, similar, kind of across the board for these divisions, okay? So what actually creates that look, though? It's muscle, all right? It's going to come from the shoulders here. So you see both athletes, bikini, and over here on wellness, we got fullness to the deltoids. Really key to train that and focus on that in both of these divisions, no matter what. You want to have the roundness to the shoulder fully. That's what creates the width here, okay? Another thing we're going to note is the arm development. And if you guys want more in-depth analysis of each physique, I got that on this channel. I'm going to go through this kind of fast today because there's a lot to talk about. The arm development is not a huge focus in either division. You want to be on, par with symmetry. You want to make sure you have something proportionate, but you don't want to train to the degree you're going to do so much bicep, tricep that you're taking away from what matters, and that's the delts here. All right, so you'll see, both athletes have a little bit of bicep, a little bit of tricep, nothing too crazy, nothing going, off to the point where you'd be off on symmetry or anything like that. So then we look to the waist. This is where we get to see, okay, this is what creates that taper. Being tight, tiny, narrow at the waist really helps us go, whoa, that's a pretty dramatic type V-taper look. Now, are these athletes training abs directly? I would say, no, not really. Most of what you're going to get at the waist is going to be this zone where it's all kind of coming in from dieting and doing some maybe light ab work, but you're not going to see six-pack abs here. You're not going to see striations and deep oblique cuts and stuff like that like you would if you were doing a lot of very direct ab training. And in fact, direct ab training can actually widen you out, give you a rectangle look, square look. You don't want to do that, ladies. So make sure in this division you're focused on bringing the waist narrow. And a lot of that comes from dieting, but it also can come from actual exercises to help bring the waist in. And that's definitely something to focus on. Now the lats here. I talked about the lats in a lot of videos recently, but basically the lats, they're not good for much in either of these divisions aside from adding some shape and into, the actual waist, this kind of taper aesthetic, if you will. So you definitely want to be training them, but it's really more focused on bringing the width versus actually bringing in the depth and the full muscle development. And chest, I always get asked about chest. Do bikini and wellness athletes need to train chest? I wouldn't, okay? I really don't have that going on when I'm programming either division. And that's because there's just really no point to build hypertrophy pectoral muscles. This isn't like, men's open bodybuilding or something like that where you need that. Your chest is going to get a lot of isolation work. A lot of secondary work, if you will, from actually just doing the right type of upper body training, period. And then, if you're training pecs out here, trying to build pectorals too much, it can really take away from the shoulders, can overall just put you in a spot where it's not going to be your best choice for your physique, and it's not something the judges are scoring here for you. So not really any reason to be doing direct chest work. So that kind of sums that up, right? The upper body for bikini and wellness is pretty much the same. It's pretty comparable. Like if we cut off the lower portion of these photos, you see some very minute differences. Now let's look lower body. This is where we see what makes bikini and what makes wellness. So bikini, for example, it's all about symmetry. You want to have upper to lower, this perfect hourglass shape. That's bikini. Wellness, on the other hand, you want to have that perfect hourglass shape up top and then over dominant at the base, okay? Wellness is an over dominant version, in other words, lower body wise, of bikini. More muscle on the lower body, you know, bigger quads, bigger glutes, bigger hamstrings, in disproportion. It's actually the only women's division that is disproportionate, okay? So what happens though is we still see some similarities as far as shape and things go. It's just really more about development and overall size. So we look at the glutes here, okay? Glutes in bikini got to be full, rounded, just like that. Wellness, we see the same thing, but to a greater degree. More development, more hypertrophy. I always talk about upper glute. You'll see upper glute is very important in bikini division. Got to have fullness there. You'll see there's even more upper glute on a wellness athlete, okay? When we look down the chain some more, you'll see hamstrings. A little bit of hamstring here in bikini. Important. Got to have a little bit of that shape. You'll see over in wellness, there's a lot more of that hamstring, okay? To the point where we're getting some separation between the hamstring and the quad, okay? That's something we're not getting in bikini. And definitely what takes the cake in the front post shot is going to be the quads. So you see some development here in bikini, important. You're going to see way more in wellness. So right out the gate, the differences that you can pick up here is going to be that, you know, wellness has a lot more muscle on the lower body. So if you're into training hard, heavy, I mean, not that bikini athletes don't train hard and heavy, but I mean, if you really like to go to the gym and spend an hour doing heavy squats and doing things like that and doing tons of accessory work, training legs 3 times plus a week, doing all that, you know, that's going to be a consideration for maybe wellness. And a lot of athletes that do well in wellness, they already have been training lower body for a long time. They kind of had that structure. You know, maybe they were an athlete before. There's a lot of, I've seen like some track athletes and stuff that decided to quit doing that and move into wellness, and they do really well because they just have been training with weights for a very long time like that. Bikini, you know, it's more symmetrical. It's still got a lot of shape. It's very hard to attain this type of physique. You want to have all those markers, but wellness is taking the lower body to a different level. It's a lot of work to get that muscle development. It's going to take more time for most of you too, so something definitely to consider. Now, conditioning wise, conditioning means level of leanness, by the way, if you don't know. Basically what we're talking about, it's the softest level of conditioning out of the women's divisions. Before y'all freak out and say that, no, these athletes are shredded. Yes, they are shredded. They are lean, but we're talking about in the scope of bodybuilding here, you know, compared to like figure, women's physique, women's bodybuilding, definitely you know, not as lean as those divisions. And what we're going to see here is some soft lines, okay? So you see some separations in the shoulders. You'll see some lines in the abs. You'll see this on both athletes. We'll see a little bit of separation at the glutes, okay? We got that. We'll see some lines maybe in the quads and the hamstrings, all right? But what you're not going to see is deep cuts, deep striations, you know, a lot of graininess, things like that you would see in leaner body fat percentages. So, you know, it's a softer level conditioning where you really want to maintain that actual look. If you don't have that, it's going to be an issue on stage, all right? Now let's take a look here at the back post. This is where we get to see the biggest difference in these divisions. Some similarities for sure, again, like we talked about. You know, bikinis, all this hourglass, symmetry up and down. Wellness is our hourglass with an over dominant base, and this is where you really get to see that here more so even than in the front post, okay? So bikini and wellness, they still have the same shoulder effect, that fullness, that roundness I spoke about. All good, all there. We want that. Taper in at the waist, we want that. You know, this taper from the lats, and remember I said the lats are not super important, and this is why. The hairs are covering it, right? So like if your hair is covering it, the judges ain't seeing it, they're not really scoring it. It's just helping you from the perspective of, you know, keeping that kind of shape going, if you will. So definitely still want to train it. Just don't plan on getting scored for depth and muscularity and all that with the lats. It's not the division for that. Neither of these. Okay? And so that's really all, again, still the same. Everything upper body, pretty on par for both bikini and wellness. Where it changes again is here we go, okay? Bikini, still has fullness to the glute, very important. You can see that upper glute, I always talk about this, very important, that creates that roundness. You have some slight separation here in the ham tie zone, some development going on the hamstrings, a little bit of quad here that you can see from the back. Really hardly can even see the quads from the back, okay? So overall, very symmetrical, matches the upper body perfectly, lower body all ties together, looks great. That's symmetry, that's Bikini. Now, wellness over here, we get a whole different look going. We got a lot more hypertrophy to the glute right out the gate. You can see just how much more developed this is versus Bikini. Upper glute is way more developed overall. This tie-in is very much more prominent. You're going to see a lot more of that separation here. You're going to see more hamstring muscle, and you can even see the quads sweeping from the back pose here. That means a ton of muscle in the lower body, ladies and gentlemen, and that's really what makes wellness. It's this over-dominant lower body division that really goes there. And I want to talk about conditioning again, because it might appear that even the wellness athlete here is leaner than the actual Bikini athlete. It's just not true, though. They're pretty on par with conditioning. Why? The ham ties and everything look much more dramatic is because there's so much muscle. Athletes are always chasing shreds, trying to get hamstrings, tie-ins, all this show. Really, the best way to get it is have a lot of muscle and meet the right level of conditioning, because what happens is that muscle's just so developed, it's pushing up against the skin, and it's popping that right through. So really what you can see here, though, is that these are two totally different divisions. I don't even know how people are saying that they look similar enough. I see comments on my Instagram all the time and stuff. People are like, these don't even look any different. They're the same. These are two entirely different divisions, ladies and gentlemen. I do have a quiz on my website if you want to check it out. We'll drop the link actually down in the bio if you want to figure out what kind of division might be best for you. I built a quiz that pretty much is what I take all my clients through in a consult, and just to figure out what's the best division for them. So if you want to check that out, hit the link down in there, and let me know what more you want to go. I just want to make this video today quick, easy, show you some differences, give you some insights. Hopefully this was helpful to you. Let me know what other videos you want me to make, what you want to see, what you want to learn more about. Drop that in the comment, and make sure you subscribe. Thanks for watching. Coach Rise out.